Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge etc. Jai Hind. Historical events of 21st May. A journey through time of 21st May 2025, Wednesday. Today is that is 21st May, highlight in history. 1659. In the Concert of the Hague, the Dutch Republic, the Commonwealth of England and the Kingdom of France set out their views on how the Second Northern War should end. 1660. The Battle of Long Sault concludes after 5 days in which French colonial militia with their Huron and Algonquin allies are defeated by the Iroquois Confederacy. 1674. The nobility elect John Sobieski, King of Poland and Grand Duke of Lithuania. 1703. Daniel Defoe is imprisoned on charges of seditious libel. 1725. The Order of Saint Alexander Nevsky is instituted in Russia by Empress Catherine I. It would later be discontinued and then reinstated by the Soviet government in 1942 as the Order of Alexander Nevsky. 1758. 10-year-old Mary Campbell is abducted in Pennsylvania by Lenape during the French and Indian War. She is returned 6.5 years later. 1792. A lava dome collapses on Mount Unzen near the city of Shimabara on the Japanese island of Kyushu, creating a deadly tsunami that killed nearly 15,000 people. 1799. The end of siege of Acre. 1799. Napoleon Bonaparte abandons his siege of Ottoman city of Acre after 2 months. This was the turning point of Bonaparte's Egyptian campaign and one of the first major defeats he suffered in his military career. 1809. The first day of the Battle of Aspern-Essling between the Austrian army led by Archduke Charles and the French army led by Napoleon I of France seized the French attack across the Danube held. 1851. Slavery in Colombia is abolished. 1856. Lawrence, Kansas is captured and burned by pro-slavery forces. 1863. American Civil War. The Union Army succeeds in closing off the last escape route from Port Hudson, Louisiana in preparation for the coming siege. 1864. Russia declares an end to the Russo-Circassian War and many Circassians are forced into exile. The day is designated the Circassian Day of Mourning. 1864. American Civil War. The Battle of Spotsylvania Court House ends. 1864. The Ionian Islands reunite with Greece. 1871. French troops invade the Paris Commune and engage its residents in street fighting. By the close of Bloody Week, some 20,000 commoners have been killed and 38,000 arrested. 1871. Opening of the first track railway in Europe, the Rigi-Bahnen on Mount Rigi. 1879. War of the Pacific. 2 Chilean ships blocking the harbor of Iquique, then belonging to Peru, battled 2 Peruvian vessels in the Battle of Iquique. 1881. The American Red Cross is established by Clara Barton in Washington, D.C. 1894. The Manchester Ship Canal in the United Kingdom is officially opened by Queen Victoria, who later knights its designer Sir Edward Leader Williams. 1904. The Fédération Internationale de Football Association (FIFA) is founded in Paris. 1911. President of Mexico Porfirio Diaz and Revolutionary Francisco Madero signed the Treaty of Ciudad Juarez to put an end to the fighting between the forces of both men, concluding the initial phase of the Mexican Revolution. 1917. The Imperial War Graves Commission is established through Royal Charter to mark, record and maintain the graves and places of commemoration of the British Empire's military forces. 1917. The Great Atlanta Fire of 1917 causes $5.5 million in damages, destroying some 300 acres, including 2,000 homes, businesses and churches, displacing about 10,000 people but leading to only one fatality due to heart attack. 1924. University of Chicago students Richard Loeb and Nathan Leopold Jr. murdered 14-year-old Bobby Franks in a thrill killing. 1925. The opera Doctor Faust, unfinished when composer Ferruccio Busoni died, is premiered in Dresden. 1927. Charles Lindbergh touches down at Le Bourget Field in Paris, completing the world's first solo non-stop flight across the Atlantic Ocean. 1932. Bad weather forces Amelia Earhart to land in a pasture in Derry, Northern Ireland, and she thereby becomes the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. 1934. Oskaloosa, Iowa becomes the first municipality in the United States to fingerprint all of its citizens. 1936. Sada Abe is arrested after wandering the streets of Tokyo for days with her dead lover's severed genitals in her handbag. Her story soon becomes one of Japan's most notorious scandals. 1937. A Soviet station, North Pole 1, becomes the first scientific research settlement to operate on the drift ice of the Arctic Ocean. 1939. The Canadian National War Memorial is unveiled by King George VI and Queen Elizabeth in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. 1946. Physicist Louis Slotin is fatally irradiated in a critical incident during an experiment with the Demon core at Los Alamos National Laboratory. 1951. The opening of the 9th Street Show, otherwise known as the 9th Street Art Exhibition, a gathering of a number of notable artists, and the stepping out of the post-war New York avant-garde, collectively known as the New York School. 1961. American Civil Rights Movement. Alabama Governor John Malcolm Patterson declares martial law in an attempt to restore order after race riots break out. 1966. The Ulster Volunteer Force declares war on the Irish Republican Army in Northern Ireland. 1969. Civil unrest in Rosario, Argentina, known as Rosario Ja, following the death of a 15-year-old student. 1972. Michelangelo's Pieta in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome is damaged by a vandal, the mentally disturbed Hungarian geologist Laszlo Toth. 1976. 29 people are killed in the Yuba City bus disaster in Martinez, California. 1979. White Night riots in San Francisco following the manslaughter conviction of Dan White for the assassinations of George Moscone and Harvey Milk. 1981. The Italian government releases the membership list of propaganda due and illegal pseudo-Masonic lodge that was implicated in numerous Italian crimes and mysteries. 1981. Transamerica Corporation agrees to sell United Artists to Metro Goldwyn Mayer for $380 million after the box office failure of the 1980 film Heaven's Gate. 1982. Falklands War. A British amphibious assault during Operation Sultan leads to the Battle of San Carlos. 1988. Margaret Thatcher holds her controversial sermon on the Mound before the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland. 1991. Former Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi is assassinated by a female suicide bomber near Madras. 1991. Mengistu Haile Mariam, President of the People's Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, flees Ethiopia, effectively bringing the Ethiopian civil war to an end. 1992. After 30 seasons, Johnny Carson hosted his penultimate episode and last featuring guests Robin Williams and Bette Midler of the Tonight Show. 1994. The Democratic Republic of Yemen unsuccessfully attempts to secede from the Republic of Yemen. A war breaks out. 1996. The ferry MV Bukoba sinks in Tanzanian waters on Lake Victoria, killing nearly 1,000. 1996. The 7 Trappist monks of Tivirin that were abducted on March 27 are killed under uncertain circumstances. 1998. In Miami, 5 abortion clinics are attacked by a butyric acid attacker. 1998. President Suharto of Indonesia resigns following the killing of students from Trisakti University earlier than week by security forces and growing mass protests in Jakarta against his ongoing corrupt rule. 2000. 19 people are killed in a plane crash in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. 2001. French Taubira law is enacted, officially recognizing the Atlantic slave trade and slavery as crimes against humanity. 2003. The 6.8 megawatt Boumardis earthquake shakes northern Algeria with a maximum mercury intensity of 10 extreme. More than 2,200 people were killed and a moderate tsunami sank boats at the Balearic Islands. 2005. The tallest roller coaster in the world, King the Ka, opens at Six Flags Great Adventures in Jackson Township, New Jersey. 2006. The Republic of Montenegro holds a referendum proposing independence from the State Union of Serbia and Montenegro. 55% of Montenegrins vote for independence. 2010. JAXA, the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, launches the solar cell spacecraft Icaros aboard an H-2A rocket. The vessel would make a Venus flyby late in the year. 2011. Radio broadcaster Harold Camping predicted that the world would end on this date. 2012. A bus accident near Himara, Albania kills 13 people and injures 21 others. 2012. A suicide bombing kills more than 120 people in Sanaj, Yemen. 2014. Random killings occurred on the Bandan line of the Taipei MRT, killing 4 and injuring 24. 2017. Ringling Bros and Barnum and Bailey Circus performed their final show at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. 2024. The Greenfield tornado kills 5 and injures 35 across rural Iowa, United States. Wind speeds in excess of 300 miles per hour, 480 km per hour are estimated from measurements for the third time in history. Thank you very much for your patience. Request for like, share and subscribe.